So the way it works internally with companies, if I click on somebody's profile, I can see if someone else within my company looked at their profile. So it could say like, oh, Anna Jones also saw this profile. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, I wonder. And it can even tell you too, like Anna Jones emailed this person or it keeps all your it keeps all your history. So I can be like, okay, let me reach out to Anna Jones and see what the tea is. Yeah. So I think everything is tracked, traced in some way or the other. So just be careful how you're presenting yourself, how you're putting yourself out there. People talk, and this world is a lot smaller than what you would think.
All right, y'all. So look, I'm just gonna say it straight up. This, in my opinion, is probably the most important interview I could think of that we're going to do. You know, of course, I can't tell about the foreseeable future, but this is definitely so far probably the most important interview conversation that we're going to have, because of course we're interviewing different guests in tech, where you've seen us interview sales engineers, people in tech sales, data scientists, founders, a variety of different people that are speaking specifically about their role in tech. And we've even interviewed recruiters, tech recruiters that give you different tips and advice on getting into the industry, which is wonderful. But most of our interviews are centered around one specific job or role or one specific company that really is only speaking to one audience group. But the guest that we have today is not only a recruiter who's recruited for both like traditional companies and tech companies, but this guest that we actually have on is someone that gave me the gems and the tools, most of the gems and the tools that I know about when it comes to LinkedIn. Those of y'all that follow me, you've seen my journey when we talk about, okay, how I went from the 90,000 to the 157,000. And then a couple months after that, getting an offer for $230,000, all within under a year of being in the tech industry. That was predominantly based off the gems that were given to me by the guests that we have today and me leveraging those gems on LinkedIn. So y'all see the title. We talking about LinkedIn, but we're not gonna like just kind of sprinkle. We are really gonna delve into different things that you can do, whether to talk about setting up your LinkedIn profile, you posting on LinkedIn, you doing all the super saucy, juicy stuff that like kind of put that extra sauce on your LinkedIn. So very excited for the guest that we have today, who I've known even before I was in tech, Isobel.
Hi, Cyrus.
What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy for you to be going here.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. That was quite the intro. No pressure or nothing.
No. This is super exciting for me because, I mean, for like a plethora of reasons. Like, I mean, obviously, one, like I said, we've known each other before I was in tech. You know, very fond of you. You're like a wonderful person. We talked recently on the phone, and I was saying like, you know, how much everybody loves you, you know, and again, even after I got into the industry, like just the impact that you had on my career, the impact that you had like on the private community, and it's just like wonderful. And I'm like, yo, whenever someone books me for like a one-on-one session, whether they're trying to get in tech or trying to scale, at the end of the session, like 9 times out of 10, I will send them your video because she gives a lot of advice and tips that would really help you, you know, better like your LinkedIn and better your chances and things that you're doing. And so, and it always just it's very significant how much like it impacts people and helps people. And so I was like, yo, I gotta get Isobel on here, like, so she could just kind of like just break this stuff down for everybody. So that way moving forward, because one thing with that video, we were kind of talking about a variety of different things. And I was like, no, let's have a dedicated video.
Just for LinkedIn.
Just for Isobel and LinkedIn. Like, let's just talk about it, like straight up. So that way our new audience that's grown can get all of this sauce. And also, man, I encourage y'all to share this video with different friends. Y'all know, I actually never even asked y'all to share it, but I'm gonna ask, like, please share this video with different people. Share this, for those of y'all that are listening, you know, share the audio with people, like whatever. Please do that, because this is definitely gonna be an impactful conversation. All that being said, I said all that without even reading off your bio. Let me go ahead and read off your bio, put some respect on you.
That's all good.
All right, so look, Isobel is currently a senior executive recruiter at Boston Consulting Group and has been in the talent acquisition space for 5 years. Previously, she worked for Shopify and UPS, where she built out D&I programs and recruited across multiple functions, technical and non-technical roles. Y'all go ahead and get some emojis, the hand clapping emojis,
like
the fire, the explosions, whatever the emojis are, go ahead and put those in the comments. If you listening and you driving, Don't clap your hands. Just kind of tap the steering wheel like
Yeah.
you clapping. Tap the steering wheel. All that good stuff for our guests as well.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate the warm welcome, Cyrus.
Yeah, I
super
appreciate
proud of
you
you and
being here.
all of your accomplishments too.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that so much. So look, let's go ahead and jump into
Let's
this thing.
do it.
All right. So just first and foremost, actually, your bio already kind of addressed that, but want to know between the tech company, just kind of like on a high level, like with UPS and Shopify, and even the company that you're at now, from your vantage point, what has it been like being a recruiter for these different companies? Like, how are different, you don't have to speak specifically about a company per se, but like, how does the role or the job vary from company to company? Like, is it different being a recruiter at a tech company versus just, I always say traditional company, but just basically a non-tech company?
Yeah. So huge difference, especially being that UPS and Boston Consulting Group, where I'm currently at now, are larger than Shopify.
Yeah.
So UPS at the time, I think it was pushing, oh gosh, I don't know. It was in the hundreds of thousands. It probably still is.
In terms of employees?
In terms of employees.
Sheesh.
Massive. I mean, number one in logistics and supply chain.
Are they number one?
At the time they were. I mean, I don't know if anything has changed, but they operated in so many different countries and territories. Shopify, when I joined, was about 10 years old, and I mean, I left last year, so they're probably they're not any older or significantly older, but smaller company. And I think like the biggest difference is just the amount of red tape and bureaucracy that exists in non-technical companies. So there's a lot more middleman and checks and balances. There's not a lot of margin for error. There's a lot of
you're speaking about it non-tech companies.
Non-tech companies, yeah. Whereas in technical companies, the margin for error is a lot larger. Usually there's larger budget. There's usually just much more younger, diverse mindsets. And with that, they welcome a lot of different ideas. So with Shopify, they had a program actually where you could literally do like a hackathon, like they'll do it quarterly. And they would really do that to like see, okay, what new product ideas can we come out with? What are some things like we can do to revamp some of our existing projects? Whereas at UPS and even Boston Consulting Group now, there's just a lot more of that middleman that exists. And so I think
if I could interrupt you really quickly, can you explain, because our audience is very broad. We have people that are extremely technical, way more technical than I could ever dream of, and then we have people that literally message us and say, what is the tech industry? What is tech? So hackathon. Please explain to our audience, what is a hackathon? So I think it's really cool, and they would actually be it would be really cool if they learned what a hackathon is. Yeah,
so a hackathon is kind of like a case competition, sort of, so to speak, where you're given a certain amount of time. So with Shopify, it was a 3-day hackathon where you're dedicated to a specific project or product or program that you're building out or you're developing on. And so the cool thing with hackathons is you don't necessarily have to have all of the technical experience, or you don't have to be a subject matter expert in that space because you're working with other people from other different groups. And so it's kind of like just like a big old collaboration brainstorm where you get to come together with people you may not have typically worked with or interacted with in the past, and just like put all your energy into this project, present it to whoever your stakeholders are. And depending on the project, it may or may not get picked up, but for a lot of people, it's really just the experience that it gives them. I know like a lot of different conferences or organizations will host certain hackathons or case competitions for attendees, and it's a good way like to pitch your idea or really just get in the hang of presenting in front of people and working on a project or a product that you may not get the opportunity to in your day-to-day role.
And you're making me actually intrigued. You actually kind of highlighted some things I didn't even know about hackathons, because in my mind, when I first learned about hackathons, I thought it was just based off the name. I thought it was just a competition of people trying to hack something. Which I'm sure there are still some that are like that. But just from what, as my knowledge has been evolving and growing when it comes to hackathons, and even based off what you're sharing here, essentially some hackathons are basically an opportunity for people to create something, some type of product or just a product or feature, whatever it is, and then them like pitch it and then get like potential funding or basically get awarded money for it.
Yeah, essentially. And I think like the outcomes can be very different. Not every, like for Shopify, they really looked at it from a development angle, like developing your career or work with somebody new or get your hands dirty in a sector of the business that you may not. Like, for example, as a recruiter, maybe I wanted to work on like the Shop app and like adjust one of the product features, which I mean, I would never do as a recruiter, but okay, here's my chance. Let me work with somebody. And then from there, you're forming connections. You're learning more about the integrations and all the little nitty gritty stuff. And so it could be a good way. I mean, it could be leveraged for so many different things. Some places utilize it again or leverage it as like, okay, pitch to us, we'll give you money. In some places it could just be like, hey, here's a chance to develop, here's a chance to network, here's a chance to grow your skill set. So either way, it's a great opportunity to get involved with if you ever have the opportunity to do a hackathon.
Fire. Yo, I love this so much because we had, I'm not sure if you know Jared, who he's pretty popular in the tech space. He's been in the industry for a while.
Okay.
Sometime in the future, I'll introduce you, even though he doesn't live here, but there'll be some event or something. Are you still going to tech events and stuff?
Yeah, so I haven't been to any this year, budgets and everything,
okay,
kind of
cool.
low. But
No, I respect that. But no, Jared was sharing how he was giving tips on, we had him on here recently as a guest, and he was sharing how you could, like, he was giving tips on how to make like $20,000, $30,000 every time you go to a tech event. And it was actually really smart. Like what he was sharing was kind of like the whole referral thing. Okay. He was like, yo, you could go to a tech event, and he was giving different tips on how while you're at the event, how you could be like, oh, okay, I want to make $20,000. So let me go here and let me like, I don't even want to break down exactly how he did it. I'm actually going to kind of butcher it. I'll send the clip over to you. Yeah. So we have like a reel for, I'll send it over to you. That's but even hearing you speak about the hackathon, you got to be thinking like, hold up. Like that's another way where people can be like, okay, while they're at a company, whether it's with their company or I know there are hackathons, I know they happen just randomly, even if it's not even with your company. Yeah. It's like y'all definitely look up hackathons.
Definitely.
And go to those things and see if it could be a huge money making opportunity or worst case scenario, even if not, it can give you major exposure or beyond that, like you mentioned, help you like iron out your pitch in front of people as well.
Yeah. And even like, I don't know if you want to segue into LinkedIn, but it's something like, I remember when I would do campus recruitment, when I first got into recruitment, and I was talking to inexperienced recent graduates or like current interns or students, and they'll be like, okay, I have all this experience from class, but I don't know how to position it to a company where they'll accept it. And I'm like, well, talk about your project work. A lot of organizations, like I used to work a lot with like NSBE, which is National Society for Black Engineers, or SWE, Society of Women Engineers. They'll do different competitions, pitch competitions, hackathons, case competitions. And a lot of people don't take advantage of them, maybe out of fear or lack of confidence, or I would never win. Yeah. Even if you don't win, the biggest win could just be you have that experience, you have something to put on your profile. Okay, I may not have been in a technical role doing these technical things, but I have worked on this case competition for some whatever high grandiose organization. So I think it's a great way to market yourself and your skill set without actually having been in the role.
Hey y'all, we have some incredible news, and I'm super excited about to finally announce our private tech community. Yes, you heard that right. A private tech community exclusively for you all who want more than just the podcast. You want more than just the FAQs. You want to talk with tech recruiters. You want to talk with hiring managers. You want to talk with coaches. You want to talk with people that can help with editing and rewriting your resume. Maybe you're somebody where you just want to be a part of a community where we're talking about updates of what's happening in the software industry. Y'all, this community that we've launched is also going to involve a Discord where we're going to be talking about updates in tech. We're going to be talking about companies that are hiring. We're going to be talking about upcoming tech events. So that way you don't have to miss any of the gems that I know, but not even just what I know, but the gems that friends of mine that are also in the tech industry know as well. So if you want to be a part of that community, go ahead and sign up so that way you can join us. We have a few different tiers. Ultimately, it's all tuned in for you. Oh, and last thing, also within this community, we're going to be streaming all of our interviews with our podcast guests. So instead of you having to wait months to watch the videos later on, you'll actually be able to watch the interviews in real time and ask your live questions to those guests. So make sure you join our tech community. Yo, that's fire. That's fine. Yo, see, y'all already getting gems, and you know, you are right. That is a perfect like segue over into like our question and conversation about LinkedIn. So let's jump straight into it.
Yeah.
So what are some LinkedIn profile tips that you know about that will help bring? Actually, before even doing that, let's explain. Like, please explain to people the value of them not just having a LinkedIn profile, but them actually leaning into it and them using it. Like the value, and also how it helps recruiters and sourcers, talent sourcers, be able to find them and connect with them on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I always tell people LinkedIn is powerful. It's much more impactful these days than a resume or a traditional CV.
That's the truth.
Yes, it is the truth. And there are, I think for one, LinkedIn is dominating in their sector. If you think about it, there's not really any other social media site for
platform.
Professionals that has the number of users that LinkedIn has.
LinkedIn is dominating.
Yeah, they really are. And it's cool because like the role I'm in now, I do executive search. And we've had conversations with our like account management team over at LinkedIn. And they look to us for like product feature insight. Like, okay, how can we, you know, maximize the products that you guys have on your contract so that it's, you know, it's beneficial for you as well as like just the entire platform. But LinkedIn is super powerful because it gives recruiters access to you, your resume, your profile, your work history, your education, your achievements, all that great stuff. Yeah. And it's all right there. And the reason why it's so powerful too is because we use it to source. And basically sourcing or a sourcer, all recruiters are sourcers, not all sourcers are recruiters.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yes. So just kind of like even breaking that down.
She breaking it down.
Yes. Okay, let me try So a recruiter is someone who will take a candidate through the entire life cycle from the application to the offer, and then they hand you off to onboarding. A sourcer works with a recruiter at the beginning, at the front end of the process. And so they're not the ones doing your offer, but they're trained to like look for unique niche profiles that a recruiter may not necessarily have the time to do because we're covering the entire span, whereas they're just focused on the front end. So just a little tip, side note, I know people like to reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn, and I get messages every day.
Should they reach out to sourcers instead?
Reach out to sourcers.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Reach out to talent sourcers too.
Oh my gosh.
Because they are dedicated to just searching for profiles and presenting them to the recruiter and the hiring manager.
Especially because the recruiters, I know more often than not, many times y'all can be extremely busy.
We're so busy.
And it's like, man, but to realize, okay, a sourcer, like literally their job is to find talent and source that talent. Yeah. And so you would literally be coming to them and they'd be like, oh, thank you. I was looking for someone like you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I recently participated in, get this, a sourcing hackathon that my company.
Sourcing hackathon.
Yeah. And we literally had a job profile. They actually did that hackathon because it was a hard to fill role. So we're like, let's just like rally up all of our recruiters.
That's smart.
And so, we broke up into teams. We sourced candidates, and I won't get into the nitty gritty, or if you want me to, I can. But we were pulling like niche profiles. I mean, we were scraping every nook and cranny of LinkedIn and pitching it to these hiring managers. But reach out to sourcers because they're the ones who are really, really looking for people.
That's a gem right there.
Little tip.
Thank you for that. That's a dope tip.
My pleasure.
Appreciate that.
But back to the importance of LinkedIn. So again, we use LinkedIn Recruiter, which is the recruiter, the back end of LinkedIn, I like to say. And it gives us full capability to search for a number of different profiles. I mean, we can go from, I don't even remember how many users LinkedIn has, a ton of users.
It's popping.
I'm not going to throw out a number there because I'm not 100% sure, but we can go from that tens of millions or hundreds of millions down to about 20 profiles and like really comb through and see who has the credentials. But you will be missed if your LinkedIn profile does not accurately capture you, your story, your essence as a professional. So I always tell people, don't get left out because you don't want to update your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Keep that thing updated because that is the single source of truth for recruiters when we're looking for candidates.
All right, so perfect timing. So next question was going to be, you're already touching on it. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about, we've already talked about, of course, the power, the value of LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. But okay, one of the things that I deal with a lot of people is that many people, and you actually taught me this, but I deal with a lot of people that are, obviously most of the people that follow me or that reach out to me are typically like in a Black and brown community. Right. And more often than not, many of them they shy away from their uniqueness. Of course, they think like traditional corporate, okay, I just need to just be professional and show my professionalism, not show my individuality, not show my personality, not talk about my gender or my ethnicity or my culture or my passions or my interests or my wittiness, my goofiness. Yeah. And one of the things that you had showed me, and I'm just going to say this, but I'm going to allow you to kind of like really like color it all in. Okay. One of the things that you taught me that showed to be incredibly valuable is show all of that. Like lean into your individuality, lean into things that make you interesting and unique, and don't just be this blank professional corporate canvas. Yeah. And so again, I'm saying that on a high level, but I would love for you to kind of break down why you showed me that and why people should not be afraid of, like you mentioned, updating their LinkedIn, but updating it in a way that just really represents them as an individual.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the first thing is, obviously, given all the racial tension has existed since the beginning of time, but just given like everything from COVID, a lot of companies began to make these pledges and commitments to diversity and inclusion. And so it was kind of like a catalyst for people of our community, Black and brown, minorities, underrepresented individuals, to really like leverage who they are and break into those roles that they want to break into. So I always tell people, don't shy away. If you've done something with an organization like NSBE or Black in Tech or Women in Tech, list that out, because a lot of times as a recruiter and sourcers, not only are we looking and combing LinkedIn for those niche profiles, but we're looking for candidates who represent some element of diversity, whether that's gender diversity or racial diversity. So like in my Boolean search, which is, well, I don't want to get into all of that, but when I'm searching and using keywords,
I don't even know what Boolean search is. Can you just explain really quickly what is Boolean search?
Yeah, so it's just a way to like search for specific things. So you use like quotations and certain rules and parameters. Yeah. And it's not just for LinkedIn. I mean, you could literally do a Boolean search in Google. So if I typed in quotation Cyrus Harbin, end quotation, and tech is the new black, it'll pull up everything on the World Wide Web that has exactly.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so it can get very technical and nitty gritty, but it's just a great way to like tailor your searches. Yeah. So yeah, with that, I will specifically, let's say I'm looking to hire somebody who's done like sustainability work or climate and sustainability work. I will look for, sustainability, strategy, ESG, and then I'll also add in keywords like Black in Tech, or I'll add in like Black and Latin sororities and fraternities, or I'll add in HBCUs, because I want to pull not only the right candidate, but the right candidate who also represents an element of diversity. So, and it also aligns with a lot of these company pledges. So it's not something like recruiters just do out of the goodness of their heart, or like people like me. Obviously, I'm a Black woman, double minority, but we also do it in alignment, in tandem with the pledges these big companies have made. So it is a priority for companies. Companies do want to diversify their workforces. And so you, as a minority candidate, should put that out there so that we can grab you and bring you into the company.
So let's say there's a young Latina woman, and she's like, okay, cool, I hear this. How, like, what does that mean for me? Like, how do I set up my LinkedIn? Like, if you as a recruiter you're searching, and let's say like, okay, you're like, okay, I'm trying to find either a young black woman, Latina, Asian, just a young woman of color, or just a young woman in general. But let's say, okay, young woman of color, and let's just continue with the kind of like the young Latina.
Yeah.
If you're searching for that on LinkedIn, because I know y'all use a back-end version of LinkedIn Recruiter, where it's kind of like a search to find certain talent. For how can that young woman have her profile? Like, what are things she can have listed in her profile on her page, so that way she's ranked high and you're able to find her? Like, even if it's like a first-time job, whatever, like she's ranked high enough that you're able to find her. Like, basically, how can people make it to where they can be discovered more easily just based off their profile?
Off of the diversity pieces, right? So this is where like you want to utilize your summary, the summary portion of your LinkedIn. Maybe you can say something like, as a Latin woman or a Latina woman in tech, or Latinx in tech. So just adding in those keywords that you know are synonymous with the demographic will pull that. Because if I type in Latin in tech, it's going to pull up everyone who has that in their profile. If you've been part of any organizations, I used to recruit and work really closely with an organization called Inroads, and they exist to basically place underrepresented talent, like college students, in Fortune 500 companies for internships. And so that's actually how I got my start in the game, because I was an Inroads intern. Shout out to Inroads. But a lot of companies know about this. And so what they'll do is they'll add in like Inroads or SWE or National Society of Black Engineers, and it'll pull these people up. If you're a part of a sorority or fraternity, like D9 or anything like that, you can list those out too. So I would, as much as it matters to like detail out your work experience and what you're doing, also add in like those extracurriculars, those things that make you. If you're passionate, if you've done a lot of like employee resource group work, ERGs or BRGs or affinity work, put that in your, even if you're just a member, even if you're not even like on the board or on the leadership team, put, I am a member of Black at Google or Black at Microsoft, and that just Black alone will get picked up too. So it'll increase your chances. And there's ways to like, put it in there so it makes sense. You're not just throwing it out there, but put those keywords in. It'll pull your resume or your profile.
Since like talking with you, I tell people, like, I'm always talking to people, they're like, man, should I, I mean, I see people that are like Black people where they don't even want to have a profile picture on LinkedIn because they're thinking like, oh, if they see I'm Black, they might not want to hire me.
No, please.
I'm like, you better lean into you being Black. Like, you better show that, like, put your profile. And again, all of this is from you, so I don't want y'all any of the gems or game I'm about to give. It's straight from Isobel. And then me kind of experimenting with different things she taught. I'm like, all the stuff you say, I'm like, I tell people like, yo, like put like in your kind of like I guess headline or whatever you said it's called.
Summary, or the headline,
because I mentioned something about you being Black. And I'm like, in your about me section, put something about you being Black. And I think I have it listed in my about me, like probably I mentioned it 3 different ways. I'm like, as a Black man, and another part I'm like, as an African American.
There you go.
So part, as a person of color, I like mention that junk heavily.
You gonna pick up my profile.
I was like, yo, y'all gonna find me. They gonna find me. And let me say this real quick, because I think. Because I want y'all to understand the benefit of how, and I told you this before we interviewed, and I think it's beneficial for y'all to learn this. A lot of people see me like, man, Cyrus, how'd you scale so quickly in the industry? And I didn't do something that's really valuable for people to do. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
One thing that people do that's very valuable, I stand by it, even though I didn't do it, I stand by it, is many people, like, you upgrade your skill set, like your capabilities, your knowledge, all of those things. Yeah. Or, of course, you kind of do the tenure game where, you kind of stay at a company for 2-3 years, you jump to another company, which is also cool. But the way I was able to scale, like, I literally took the information, the advice you gave me, in between both, one, adjusting my LinkedIn profile, and also, we're going to get to it in a second, like, talk about, like, posting and kind of, like, certain things to do with that. But literally, I took the advice she gave me, and I'm telling y'all this so y'all understand the value of it. I took the advice that she's giving right now, and when I used that, it transformed my LinkedIn to where there was a period in time when I was like really focused on like my LinkedIn heavily. There was a period of time I was having like 2 tech companies a day reach out to me.
Wow.
And it got to the point tech companies were offering me money way beyond, like I was still a SMB. I was still like an entry level sales engineer.
Wow.
And companies were offering me money like beyond what they were offering money like what principal sales engineers were getting paid. And then I was getting opportunities and offers to like be over a sales engineering department at a startup. And it's like, I was like, yo, and the amount of money was like well over $200,000 plus. And again, this is all under a year of me being in the industry. And so I want y'all to, I say this because I want y'all to really understand that the thing she's saying is not just cute. It's not just something you're like, oh, I guess I should make some adjustments. It's like, no, this will really transform like just your impact, just really transform like the experience that you're receiving on LinkedIn. And so anyway, I just want to kind of double down on that. But yeah, I completely transformed. Now, mind you, now I will say my LinkedIn isn't fully optimized the way that it should be because of all the things I'm doing now. Nevertheless, I always know I'm like, yo, I could tweak my LinkedIn some more based off of advice and information that you've given, and it will like 10x everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if it's just like, because once you get it to the place where the foundation is set, it could just be like, you know, checking in every month or 2 months and just like adding any little updates. But yeah, I think I think that's really powerful how, I mean, you're a success story of someone who has leveraged their LinkedIn and scaled beyond what would be typical because you understood how recruiters use LinkedIn. So I think that's really awesome.
I mean, thanks, hugely thanks to you. So we talked about, setting up your LinkedIn, and we've had, do you know Shanae? Shanae know each other? Recruiter cousin?
So. Oh, I've seen her post. I don't know her though. But
okay, cool. I gotta connect y'all. Yeah. Like, y'all love each other. Shanae's cool people. Shanae low-key kind of like techisthenewblack family. Honestly, she's real good people. Like y'all honestly love each other. Cool. But anyway, Shanae had talked before about the importance of like your recommendations, and you know she kind of like touched on some of those things before. And so we talked about setting up your LinkedIn and the importance of like highlighting certain things. Now, advice on when people are posting on LinkedIn, posting and interacting, let's say both, posting, interacting, engaging, what's the importance, just from your knowledge, your experience, of people actually interacting, engaging on LinkedIn and posting?
So that's also very powerful too. So from the LinkedIn recruiter perspective, it'll really just pull profiles, but the thing is, we do sit on LinkedIn and just look at the feed too.
Y'all be scrolling.
I'll be scrolling. I'll be like, oh dang, they just had a layoff. Oh man. So it's a rough market. But I think it's a great way to expand your network and make your name more visible to people who may not necessarily be looking. So for example, if I'm scrolling just, Monday morning, let's see what's going on LinkedIn. And I see somebody like comment something, or like, I know obviously we're in times where people are trying to find employment and they have that open to work banner up. It's important to post and have presence. Now, you don't have to become a LinkedIn influencer. Which is a thing. And I mean, hey, that's great, to each their own, like, because it works for people. There's strategy in that too, because some of the posts I see are just a little, I'm like, why did you put that out
like
there?
Corny or weird? Or
corny, or just kind of like borderline begging. And I guess desperation does bring people to certain levels. So I get it. Yeah. But I think it's great to interact with people, because not only are you interacting, but you're also, LinkedIn is so powerful because, say, for example, I see someone in my network say, hey, I'm looking for a marketing specialist to join my team. I can easily reshare that, and you see that, and there you go. That connection is made right there. So I do think it's important to have that presence, because you're visible to people who may not necessarily be using LinkedIn Recruiter, or may just be, who may not even be in the recruitment space, but they want to make a referral. And so they're seeing your post, they're seeing your activity. And so I think just any kind of strategic conversation or output will always put your name in the right hands, I think. But another great thing to use LinkedIn for is like publications, or I know recently I was looking for somebody who had some of their work, their UI UX work listed on like they had like their portfolio.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it may not necessarily pop up, or it's not necessarily a search parameter on LinkedIn Recruiter like who has a portfolio, but if you're putting that out there, if you're putting your work out there, people are resharing it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Let me look at their portfolio. So yeah, posts are powerful. Engagement, interactions, all of it is powerful. Even just a simple like, reshare, comment, because the way LinkedIn is, it'll show you everything.
Yes.
It'll show you like, oh, so-and-so commented on this post.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this post? Let me see. Oh, what are they saying? What's their interactions? Now I'm going down rabbit holes and looking at profiles that I don't really, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So yeah, I think the posting piece is important. I think the priority is definitely your profile and getting that set up. And then once you have that foundation, that baseline set, then you start, because the last thing you want to do is start doing all this posting, right? But people click on your profile and it's like, oh, she doing all that talking. I can't even see what's back in the stuff.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. But yeah,
you would say the same thing in terms of when people are reaching out to, I guess sourcers. So people reaching out to sources or recruiters or hiring managers, they need to make sure that their LinkedIn, that their profile, like, is putting respect on their name.
Yeah.
So that way when that recruiter looks at their page, have you ever had any instances where someone reached out to you, or maybe they reached out to a sourcer on your team, and then y'all looked at their page and was like, womp, womp, womp?
Oh, all the time. Man. All the time. Yeah. It's so common all the time. And it could be for little things, maybe like their profile isn't as optimized as it could be, or maybe, some of their posts are not as tasteful. Or another thing with LinkedIn Recruiter, so the way it works internally with companies, if I click on somebody's profile, I can see if someone else within my company looked at their profile. So it could say like, oh, Anna Jones also saw this profile. So I'm like, oh, okay, I wonder. And it can even tell you too, like, Anna Jones emailed this person, or it keeps all your it keeps all your history. So I can be like, okay, let me reach out to Anna Jones and see what the tea is. Yeah. So I think everything is tracked, traced in some way or the other. So just be careful how you're presenting yourself, how you're putting yourself out there. People talk, and this world is a lot smaller than what you would think.
Looking for a job in tech can be tricky, but what if there's a way to automate the entire process? That's where Octoply.ai comes in. See, this software does all the work it takes for you to get hired, from researching companies to scheduling interviews, and all you have to do is just show up. Octoply.ai is the first application of its kind that will find jobs that you're top applicant for, apply to roles, reformat your resume, and manages interviews all while you sleep. So if you're tired of the tedious job search, try Octoply.ai today and let technology work for you.
Oh man, you touched on so much that I love a lot. Man, that's so good. So one of the things I love, earlier you were speaking about, people posting their work or posting something on LinkedIn and it being reshared. One of the things I love about LinkedIn's feed, like your kind of home feed, is that it operates somewhat similar. It's like a hybrid between your normal social media feed and the explore page. Yeah. But it doesn't give you a bunch of random stuff. At least mine doesn't give me a bunch of random stuff that it's like I'm not interested in. It usually gives things where, like you mentioned, somebody commented on it, or someone liked it, or of course someone reshared it. But it's like, now why does that matter? Like, that matters because what I've seen is that it's significantly easier to go like viral on LinkedIn because, or really just to be noticed, because even if one person comments on your stuff, everyone in their network is gonna see that. And so that's why I learned the value of posting things on LinkedIn, because I realized like, I'm not limited. Like on Instagram, if I post something on Instagram, even though Instagram can put it in the explore page, it's like I'm limited by, one, the number of people that are actually gonna comment and share, and then two, I'm limited by, even if I show up in the explore page, like there's only but so many people that are going to be in the explore page and are even going to like see that one post out of all, versus when you're scrolling vertically on LinkedIn, if somebody comments on my thing, everyone in their network that's also on LinkedIn that's scrolling is going to see my post now, even if they're not connected with me, even if they don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And so I've had several friends get jobs just through posting, like crazy. And just like you mentioned, like them being like no experience in tech, you know, they might have done a boot camp only, and all they did was they just posted. And I always tell people this, I'm like, yo, just post like tidbits of your, like, just show that you have some type of knowledge or show your transferable skills and how it relates to this role. Yeah. I've had friends do that creatively, where like one girl who actually was, she was one of our first episodes, Tiffany Poole. She did that, where she did a side by side of healthcare and sales engineering, and like kind of like the similarities. Yeah. That post of hers went viral to where people kept sharing it. And she ended up getting like ridiculous offers, like not ridiculous in a bad way, but like just amazing offers. And she ended up accepting an offer that was like, I ain't gonna say how high it was. It was well over $100,000. And I mean the benefits, the sign-up bonus, all that stuff was just phenomenal. Awesome. Actually, up until this past Monday, she had the highest like first time offer I'd ever heard of. It literally just got dethroned in terms of like my knowledge just this past Monday. And that was like last year. Like,
is she in a technical role?
She's a sales engineer.
Okay.
She's a sales engineer. But no, actually she's a solutions consultant. Because the company she's at, I worked there for a while. The company she's at, there's solutions engineers. It's like, it's non-technical. Like, there's no technical component to it at all.
Interesting.
Now, it's very specific in terms of the demoing and like you really understand the product well and understand the customer well, but it's like non-technical at all. So yeah, but it's incredible offer. She's been loving it at the company. I actually want to do like an update interview with her.
That would be cool.
And actually, that's actually our largest interview on Tech is New Black. Like,
is
in terms
it
of
really?
views, which shocked me because she was our most entry-level person. And that was the largest episode.
Not everyone is at the startup founder phase. Like, some people are just trying to break in.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we
saw that.
I really like that too. Like, just like talking about posting on LinkedIn, because I know, like, so I have another friend who's also big in like the tech space, and he works for Microsoft, but he's also really involved in their BAM, Black at Microsoft ERG, and he's always posting. He actually has a similar platform too, like just like promoting like Black people in tech, but he's always posting about like some of the work they're doing over at Microsoft. And so, for example, let's say like, not that I am, but let's say like I was interested in getting into Microsoft, right? So I could say or comment like, oh wow, this seems like a really great event. Really love some of the learnings that you posted on here. Also saw and tag whoever was maybe on the panel speaking on so and so and so and such a thing. Really cool stuff. You never know where that one comment might take you. And so I think, like, to your point, because LinkedIn will show you like the entire like breadth of the content that's being posted and like the comments and who reshared it and who's commenting and who's reacting in different ways. And you never know who's going to see that. So I think it's all about being tasteful and strategic, in how you're putting yourself out there. But yes, posting on LinkedIn is a very powerful tool.
Man, I love you touching on that tasteful aspect, because that actually takes us into like our next part, which is what are distasteful things, or what are things that people do that you see commonly on LinkedIn that people don't realize is hurting them, and it's probably holding them back from opportunities, because a lot of people don't know, especially if they don't have LinkedIn Premium. Most people don't know, like, yo, recruiters and people are always checking your account, even if they're not hitting you up. And more often than not, people don't realize that they're... So we already talked about optimizing your LinkedIn, your profile. We talked about posting. But what are things that people can do, whether it's posting or it's things they might put on their profile that they don't realize is actually hurting them?
And here's where it gets subjective, right? Because...
Okay, cool, yeah.
Every recruiter is different. So what might catch the interest of one might turn another person off. But I think really being aware of your brand and like, what is it that you want people to know about you and your skill set? And we touched on just like the market a bit and how it's shaky. And desperate times call for desperate measures. Like I see people post about like, my visa is about to run out and I need a job ASAP. Please, share this post with people, So I see stuff like that and I get it. Like it's tough. Yeah. But what I actually recently, how do you say on like, not blocked, but like unfollowed or disconnected with somebody on LinkedIn. I don't know. What do you unfollow? I don't know. Yeah. Whatever that version is on LinkedIn. I recently did that with somebody because they were complaining a lot about a lot of the interviews and how like people weren't, responding to them back and recruiters were ghosting them, which is true. Yeah. Some of us do ghost. I've
heard about recruiter ghosting. Yeah.
It'd be a lot of folks, but anyway, we won't get into that. But I think just like the way he talked about it, it was just very, I'll be real. It was just kind of rude. And he was, and it's like, okay, I hear your frustration, but I think with everything you have to be strategic and think about like the end user who's going to see that, because at the end of the day, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything.
A lot of people, this is the thing today where everyone feels like they're just owed, like oh, I deserve this thing. It's like no one deserves that, and no one owes you anything. I love that you said that.
Yeah, and that's something I tell people all the time. Like nobody owes you anything,
especially not a six figure job.
Listen, because the truth of the matter is, you're looking at, let's say you're looking at the glass half empty. Somebody could be looking at the glass half full and say, okay, well, what I've learned from my recruitment experiences after being ghosted and not hearing back from recruiters is that da-da-da. And so it's kind of like reframing and repackaging your experience so that people see the silver lining. Yeah. Because the truth of the matter is, like, I can sit here and scrutinize anything and call out all the negative things about it, but surely there was a learning in there. Surely there was something you could have taken away and say like, okay, well, sure, maybe I was ghosted, but here's what I learned and here's how I want to revamp that and implement that in my next search. So I think it's all about like how you pivot. But if you're just dwelling, nobody wants a negative Nancy around. Nobody wants somebody who's going to drain their energy. So I think it's just like, repackaging and repurposing so that you're not dwelling on the negative, but you're showing what you learned from that experience. And that to me, I mean, I'm like, okay, all right.
Do companies and or recruiters, I know you can't speak for every company or every recruiter, but kind of generally, when they see a person being a bit negative, whether the person is talking trash about recruiters or the person is saying nobody wants to hire me or like, just whatever, do you believe that can sometimes translate to them thinking, okay, if we hire this person on, or even if we interview this person and just it doesn't work out because we try to interview them but we just don't feel that they're the best candidate for the role, this person could like potentially bash us or bash our company?
Honestly, I think one person's review is not enough to pull down a whole.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now, if some random
influencer
site or like what is
site.
that app that they I can't remember, like Blind, no, not Blind, is it Blind? Basically like where you can leave like anonymous reviews on companies, like if for some reason like there's like a spike in negative reviews, it might prompt, okay, let's look at some of our processes. But at the end of the day, like everybody wants a job, so people are still gonna apply to that company regardless.
Exactly. So even if they like, oh, I heard this, it's like, oh, but they paying what? Okay.
I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna go. So yeah, I think just knowing like you do not single-handedly hold the power to pull down something that has been established for however many years. Yeah. So it's just kind of like learning, not necessarily sipping the Kool-Aid, but just aligning yourself so whatever feedback or response you put out there is still not perceived as just negative and unproductive and unhelpful to the rest of the broader community. Because I mean, it's very easy for people to just that's annoying, block, delete, out of sight, out of mind. So I hope that answers your question.
No, that definitely answered it. You answered it differently than I thought you would, but that definitely still answers it.
Okay.
And addresses it from that component. And so, all right, last questions. We are out of time.
Oh, dang.
So last question that I have is, trying to think of how I want to ask this.
Oh Lord.
It ain't nothing that crazy. It ain't nothing that deep, honestly.
Okay.
I'll tell you straight up. Actually, you know what? I actually would just ask it this way. What is... Because, I mean, there's so much that we could talk about when it comes to LinkedIn. It comes to people reaching out to recruiters. It comes to people doing a variety of different things. Mm-hmm. What is a piece of advice that you haven't had the opportunity to share yet that, you know, whether it's encouragement or whether it's like a specific thing that someone should consider doing or be mindful of, you know, when they're out here looking for jobs?
Specifically around LinkedIn, right? Or just general?
It doesn't have to be on LinkedIn. Yeah,
okay.
We'll have to limit it to LinkedIn.
So I'll give a piece of encouragement that I recently gave a friend who is in the job search, and it's been a bit challenging, and it's just like understanding the back end of the recruitment process. So a lot of times people will make it to the final stages and they don't get selected. They don't get the offer. Yeah. And it's like, I made it through 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 rounds of interviews. And it's draining. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, what is it me? Like, what happened? And so I think it's good to understand the back end process. Recruiters are never just talking to one person.
Yeah.
They're always talking to multiple people. And we start with a wider funnel and we narrow it down. So by the time you get to those end stage interviews, we're typically talking to about 3, 4 people at that time. So it doesn't mean that if you made it that far, you are qualified for the job.
Yeah.
And it could just be that like, okay, we just have one thing. Let's try to like vet them in this way. But they're also, not only are they comparing you to the job spec, but they are looking at who is more not qualified, but who would just fit into the role the best. So I always tell people, like, you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe you could have answered the question in a better way, but if you made it that far, don't doubt your abilities, don't doubt your skill set, don't take it as the end of the world. It is a very good sign. And usually at that stage, a lot of times what will happen is, if let's say I'm working on a similar search, before I even go to market for a role, I'll look at history, because our ATSs, or our applicant tracking systems, they keep all of that information. And I'll reach out to the recruiter on the previous search, like, hey, I saw that you had so-and-so make it to final stages. Like, can you give me some feedback? Let's sit down and talk. I want to understand, like, and that's how a lot of people have like stories. Oh, I didn't get hired for this one job, but they called me back for another. Yeah. Or I didn't get selected for this position, but there was an opening or something changed. So I always encourage people that way. Like, don't think it's the end of the world, or don't think that you're just a horrible interviewer, because if you made it that far, you made it that far for a reason. Yeah. But yeah, I think time and chance happens to us all. Yeah. And when it's your time and it's the right opportunity, it'll happen. I know that's not, I want to hear that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. So keep going. True. Keep going, keep applying, keep interviewing. You're only strengthening yourself. You're only making more connections. You're only learning more about interview processes and how to like position yourself to get those interviews in the first place. I mean, I could post a job now and have like 300 applicants in 3 days. Yeah. And I don't even need to source. I don't need to do anything. Like, they're coming to me. And a lot of times that's a lot of people to go through. So if you are 1 out of 3 all the way from 300 applicants, it as well. Keep going. Incredible. Like, it's a good sign. So